addicts, it's Alex. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be another episode of my makeup and brushes of the day video, and I will be doing it a little bit different today just because you guys had gave me suggestions from the last video. So I'm going to be inserting little clips of me applying the makeup with the brushes that I will be talking about, and I'm going to be talking about the makeup and the brushes simultaneously, so it makes a little bit more sense, because I kind of noticed that too when I was editing. I'm like, why don't I just kind of talk about them together rather than separate? So that is what I'm going to be doing today. And I must say I'm really excited about this look, this lip combination I'm really excited about, and the eyeshadow, but let's just jump on into it. First thing that I did when I applied my makeup is I went in with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus setting spray and just sprayed that all over my face. This setting spray is actually kind of funny because when I first got it, I hated it. And the reason why is just because the nozzle was broken. It didn't start working till like, I guess halfway through, and people were like, mine works really great, the spray bottle is really great, you must have gotten a dud. And I'm like, maybe. But then as I kept using it, the nozzle just started working. So I do like it a lot better now. It's not my favorite setting spray of all time, because I don't think anything's going to beat the Pixi by Petra Makeup Fixing Mist. And even when I'm thinking back to products that I used before going cruelty-free and vegan, this still wasn't as good as those. But as far as the cruelty-free and vegan stuff, I still love the Pixi by Petra Makeup Fixing Mist. And this one's kind of, I guess, like my next favorite. I haven't tried a ton, but this, I guess, would be my next favorite, like the middle ground. And then my least favorite was the e.l.f. Makeup Mist and Set, and that's only because it's just plain and there's nothing exciting about it. This one does have kind of a nice smell, and I do like the spray a little bit better overall. But for me with setting sprays, I like them to have some sort of scent that's kind of calming and relaxing, because that's what I really like setting sprays for. I don't necessarily get them for longevity. I get them for, you know, set my makeup to make sure that it looks nice, hopefully lock in the makeup so it lasts longer, but I think the thing that really gets me is the scent. Then the next thing that I went in with is the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer in Fair, I believe. Yep. So I put that on my eyelid and my brow bone before putting on my eye makeup, because I went from eye makeup to face and then finished off with whatever else. I got some eye and then lip. And the brush that I used to apply it was a Sigma Tapered Kabuki F86 brush. Now, I actually applied it with the actual wand, but I blended it in with the Sigma brush. So this is what, once again, is the Tapered Kabuki F86 brush. Next, I went in with an eyeshadow palette, and it's the My Makeup Brush Set My Cool 88 eyeshadow palette. So let me just open it. First of all, I'm really loving this palette because it's my only palette that's this huge that has so much color variety. And this is the cool toned one. The only thing I wish there was like oranges in there, but maybe if I got the warm one would have, you know, more options and give me my oranges. But today I wanted to do more of a cool tone, silvery grayish look, so that is why I decided to dip into this palette, and also just to kind of switch it up for you guys. But what I did was I went in with this shade on the crease in the lower, this shade on the, this shade on the crease and the lower lash line. I did this shade right here, I believe, on the brow bone. It's hard to tell what I dipped into, but I pretty much went in with a nude shade on the brow bone. And then I went in with this dark, it's not a black, but I would call it like a steel, like a dark gray color. And that is what I put on the outer corner today, and also used to line my eyes. I didn't actually go in with an eyeliner today. I just used some eyeshadow just to give some definition without it being too stark. So that is what I used. So whenever I went in with this shade right here, I used the Miss Glam Beauty Precise Crease W25 brush. So I just dipped that in. So it's a nice crease brush. It's a little bit smaller because some of the, like if you compare it to the Sigma F80, or not F80, E40, the big blending brush, it's really fluffy. That one's much bigger than this. So if you have smaller eyes, this one is so much better. Or if you're trying to do something more precise, this is a great brush to try. So this one I really, really liked for putting that in. And then whenever I went in to do the outer corner, every time I do the outer corner at this point, I'm always using the Sigma E25 blending brush, and that is when I went in with this like dark gray color, and I just put it on the outer corner. But yeah, the Sigma E25 blending brush is like one of my holy grail brushes for sure. And I really do like Sigma Beauty brushes. I think that they are really high quality, fluffy, soft, like they're amazing. So I'm a big fan of Miss Glam Beauty brushes and Sigma Beauty brushes. And As far as this eyeshadow palette goes, like I said, I like that it comes with a big variety. You know, there's so many different looks that I can use to create from this palette. However, I will say this palette is more of like a complementary palette. I always, you know, I never create a full look using it. And I think part of the problem is I really like having a very stark, glittery, metallic, titanium finish type of eyelid shade. And then I use other matte shades or softer shades to kind of complement it. So that is what I use this palette for. It's really rare that I do a whole look with this palette, unless I'm doing something super basic, but I tend to go in here for crease colors, lower lash line colors. There's a couple ones that I can use for the outside. I think the dark slate's pretty much the main one that I use on the outer corner. But yeah, just to go in and do some fun looks, and then I pair it with a cool lid shade. Sometimes I put a black shade on the outer corner, but I always find something in here that help me create a completely different look than what I typically do. So like there's purples, there's blues, there's green, there's neutrals, there's a little yellow, and there's browns, and there's some like dark mauves and grays and stuff like that. So I love having this palette. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have this palette, so I've created a lot of fun looks with this. But I also want to mention though, the quality on this isn't amazing. Some shades are like bomb, and other shades are like not even showing up, and other shades are just normal. Like, so it's not going to be the most high quality palette, but it gives you the variety, and that's what I got it for. So just keep that in mind. There are some duds, there's some amazing ones. It's not completely consistent across all shades, but it works for me because it gives me that variety, and they do work still anyway. Now the next product that I went in with is from ColourPop, and it's their Super Shock eyeshadow in Liberty, and this is an ultra metallic eyeshadow, and I love the ultra metallic eyeshadows. Anything like glittery and stark and in your face on the lid is just so fun for me, and this is just one of my all-time favorite shades from ColourPop. There's some really good ones. I really like Koosh, I like Tinsel, I like Liberty and Millionaire. There's so many great eyeshadows from ColourPop, it's hard to narrow it down. But this one is like, when I touch it, it's just like butter. It is. And even it's getting kind of old and like thin, like I can tell like it's starting to get old, but I still get I got so much color payoff, and it felt so soft and nice. So I really loved using this today. It's always, whenever I kind of go for more of a gray, cool tone look, I kind of gravitate towards Liberty. And because of ColourPop Super Shock shadows being so creamy and just easy, I don't know, I just love the formulation of them that I applied this one with my finger. I didn't use a brush to apply on the lid, so I just went in with my pointer finger and applied it on my lid, and then to get on that inner corner, I used my pinky finger. Then I went in with the e.l.f. Poreless Face Primer. e.l.f. face primers, I've mentioned a billion gajillion times, are my favorite face primers of all time. This is my second favorite from e.l.f. My number one favorite is the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Face Primer, but I love this Poreless Face Primer too. It's kind of more of like a preference, which one you like better. And but it just feels soft. It does smell a little weird, but you can't, like, once it's blended and you can't smell it. But I really do like it a lot, and of course it's pink, so that's just like a bonus. And I do like the packaging too of them. It's nice. It's not like super high-end, but it's not like a piece of crap. You know, I kind of actually like how the primers are packaged, but I really do like this one, and I have repurchased it a couple of times. And with these primers, and I don't know if there's any face primer that I have ever applied with anything other than my hands, but I applied this with my hands today. Next, I went in with the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation, and I picked up the shade in Porcelain. And today's the first day that I've tried it out. I'm actually in the middle of filming a demo and first impressions video for you guys, and so far so good. I will, you know, post that video soon for you guys to check it out, but it was really easy to apply. I don't really at the moment have a problem with it. I definitely think it's more like thinner coverage, but I'll give you more details whenever I do post that video, and I will link it. I'll try to remember to link it down below once it is up. And the brush that I used to apply this foundation was the SL Miss Glam Beauty Macaroon M04 Full Foundation Brush. So these two together was bomb. It just worked out perfectly. It just blended it in perfectly. I went in with my fingers out of habit, but I like looked, I'm like, I don't even think I need to go in with my fingers to touch it up. Like, they just together were so good. So I will definitely keep you guys posted on that. Maybe I'll try this out with different brushes and whatnot. But yeah, this was such a good combo. And like I said, SM Glam Beauty brushes are really nice and they're gorgeous. And then I went in with the e.l.f. HD Lifting Concealer again, but this time I put it right underneath my eyes and on my cheekbones. And I used the Sigma Taper Kabuki F86 brush again. So this brush is really great to get on the lid, but it's also good to get right underneath here and blend it out. So Sigma brush, this is actually one of my favorite Sigma brushes. This is a really good one. The next product that I went in with is the e.l.f. Beautifully Bare Total Glow Face Palette. And I went in with this blush shade right here. I really do like this palette, mostly for the blushes. The highlighter is okay. I don't really touch bronzer because I'm not a bronzer person. I kind of wish this bronzer or maybe one of the blushes was like a finishing powder to put on top of your concealer. Then I think this would be the total face palette, but it's missing you know, the next product, like it's just missing that setting powder. So I really wish it would have come with that, and then this would have been perfect. And and then personally for me, I wish it would just ditch the bronzer and put that in there. But for everyone, I think a total face palette would include a highlighter, a blush, a bronzer, and a setting powder. So that's the only bummer about this. I like that it comes with a mirror. I love the formulation of the blushes. They are really like natural looking and nice and great for someone who is light skin. The highlighter is very subtle, and I have yet to touch the bronzer, but that's only because I'm not a bronzer or contour person. I don't ever do bronzer or contouring at this point. And then to apply this blush, I went in with the Wet n Wild. I believe this is their blush brush. They don't have the names on it. So I just dipped it in here and placed that on my cheeks. And like whenever I do my cheeks, you'll see in the video, I'm like, so that's how I applied it. I really do like the Wet n Wild brushes. They really impress me, especially because they're so affordable. They're really nice. They're not even like nice for being affordable. Like they're just nice. I like using them. Then I went in with the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette. I went in this shade here. I think that's Dim Light. Yeah, Dim Light, and that's what I put underneath my eyes, right on top of where I put the concealer. To apply the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder, I went in with the e.l.f. Small Tapered Brush and just got right underneath there. It's so great because it's pointed, a little bit rounded, and can get right underneath your eyes really nicely. So that's what I use for that. Now, as far as the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Palette goes, I really, really like this palette. As you can see, I've hit pan on Dim Light because it's the perfect shade to put underneath my eyes. I've touched this shade right here a little bit whenever in the past I wanted to use it as more of a bronzer, but because I haven't been into bronzing or contouring, I just kind of ignored it. And this shade, at one point I was putting it underneath my eyes, but I thought it was like a little bit too highlighty, so I started putting it as like a highlighter and a corner highlighter, something like that. So I use it more as a highlighter. So these two together are really nice to do, but this is more of a subtle highlight. This is like makes your skin look nice, but you can't tell that you put a highlighter on. Your skin just looks good. So, and I really, really love the formulations of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting powders. I think the powders are really great, and whenever I run out of this and I have money, I definitely want to get the full size of just this shade, which is nice that they come with this palette because you can kind of test things out and see what you like. But I really want to get a replacement for this shade. These I probably will never get replacements for, because this is too highlighty and this is too dark, and then I don't use it as a bronzer. But in trying this out, I've discovered how much I really love this powder, and I think they're great, and I really want to try more from Hourglass in general, and I also like that it does come with a mirror. Alright, the next product that I went in with was the Anastasia Beverly Hills Illuminator in Starlight. I don't think this one gets enough credit. I absolutely love this highlighter. First of all, it's a white highlighter. It's a great formulation. It looks really nice on the skin. So if you're fair skin, I would highly recommend getting this, not only the Anastasia Illuminator, but particularly in Starlight. And what I use to apply it is the SL Miss Glam Beauty Fan Highlight W30 brush. So it's a big fluffy brush, and don't be intimidated by how big and fluffy it is. It just feels like a pillow touching your face, and it doesn't make, at least for me, it doesn't make the highlight too wide. It just places it and then really blends it out. Now, Ms. Liz Hart, she had her set come out, and it has a fan brush like this, but she made it smaller. So if you're looking for one like this, but you want it to be a little bit smaller and less fluffy, go for the one from the Ms. Liz Hart set. So she kind of made an adjustment to it that fit her better, but I actually like the bigger one. At first when she did that, I'm like, that's great, and I tried hers, but I actually prefer the bigger one. And then I also went in with this highlighter on my nose and my Cupid's bow, and I just used, I think I applied it with my middle finger, and then I blended it with my pointing finger, or something like that. So I used two different fingers. I put it on with one, and then I blended it in with the other. Now I actually want to go back to the My Cool 88 eyeshadow palette from my makeup brush set. I actually did go in, before I got into all the face stuff, I used this dark gray eyeshadow and used it as an eyeliner. So instead of actually using eyeliner, I used eyeshadow to provide definition around my eye. And to place it, I went in with the Sigma E21 smudge brush. So I kind of just went from the outer part and worked my way in, and I kind of had it to tap, because you don't want it to pull too hard since you have an ultra metallic eyeshadow on your eye. You don't want to rip it off because it is a thicker formula. And so I just kind of like tapped it on and just provided enough color to give definition to my eye and provide that contrast without having it being so stark in your face like an eyeliner would be if you're using a liquid eyeliner or gel eyeliner or whatever. It's more of a subtle thing. Now, after I went in with all my face products and applied the highlighter, I did want to go put some eyeshadow on my lower lash line, and whenever I do that, I usually pick whatever colors in my crease and put that on the lower lash line. The only time that I don't do that is if I'm trying to do like a pop of color or something. So I went back in with this shade right here from the palette, and to apply it, I went in with the SL Miss Glam Beauty Eye Angled Shading W17 brush. So it's a little bit thick, but it has an angle to it. So it fits really nicely right underneath your eye, and it's fluffy enough that you can just place it and then brush back and forth. So it applies nicely and it makes it really easy. You don't have to go in with two brushes, because sometimes when I use a pencil brush, I feel like I have to go in with another small fluffy brush and blend it out, but this is kind of like a two-in-one. Now the next couple of products, I didn't have to use brushes to apply. So the first thing is the e.l.f. Brow Pencil in Taupe. So I went in and brushed it with the brush that's on the end of the brow pencil, and then I went in with the taupe end to fill in my brows. It is the perfect shade now that I have my hair a little bit darker. It was a little bit too dark for me when I was like platinum blonde, but it's perfect now that I have some brown in my hair. So I really like it. It's a good formulation, not my favorite formulation of all time, but it's really affordable. I think it was like $2. $2. Looks nice. It works for me. You know, nothing exciting, but it's not bad. I'm happy with it. And then I went in with the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel right over top. It has a brush wand in it, and that was just to set my brows. And this is my favorite clear brow gel of all time, but there is one from e.l.f. out there that's also good. But this one I just really like. There's just something about the brush and the formula that works really well, so I just applied that. So if you have the money to splurge on a clear brow gel, I would recommend the Anastasia Beverly Hills one. And then the next product I went in with was the Wet n Wild Max Fanatic Cat Eye Mascara, and I did 2 coats of that on both my upper and lower lashes. And I really like the Wet n Wild Max Fanatic Mascara. I have a first impressions and demo video that I will have linked down below for you guys to check it out, but I'm really loving it. I'm a huge, huge fan of Wet n Wild mascaras, and I mentioned this in my last makeup and brushes of the day video too. Also, when I apply the Anastasia Illuminator in Starlight, I put on some of the product onto this Sigma Blending E36 brush, and I put it right on the inner corner of my eye. Now, the next product that I went in with was an e.l.f. eyeshadow palette, and it is the Matte for Plum palette. And I only use this palette to use the black eyeshadow that was in it because I put the gray as a liner, but I really wanted to intensify it. So I wanted to use a black rather than just a dark gray. So I went back in with the Sigma E21 smudge brush, and I just tapped on the outer part and kind of winged it out a little bit just to give more of a cat eye effect. And then I kind of worked my way in towards the inner part too. And then just to really make sure that I got on that inner part and provided some definition. It's more subtle as I went in. I used the Sigma Eyeliner E11 brush, another one of my favorite brushes from Sigma. I gotta do like a best of Sigma brush video. I should do that. I need to do a best of brushes video too, but I love this brush in particular. I need to try more from Sigma. So this is like really tiny, so it's good to really get on that inner corner, or if you're trying to create a really, really thin line. Then I went back in with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray and sprayed that all over my face. And to finish up, I went in with 2 ColourPop liquid lipsticks. So I wanted to do kind of a more gray, dead looking lip since I was doing a more cool toned look. And I went in with the ColourPop Ultra Satin Liquid Lipstick in Marshmallow, and I put that on my lips. And then I tapped my lips on a piece of toilet paper twice. And then I went over top of it with the ColourPop Ultra Matte Liquid Lipstick in Midi because the Marshmallow was a little bit too intense and in your face, I wanted to calm it down a little bit. So I went in with a pinkish nude shade, and that was the perfect combination for it. I loved how it turned out. So it was really also fun to kind of experiment with liquid lipsticks and kind of mix and match. So that is what I did. Alright, that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Let me know down in the comments what makeup you are wearing today or what makeup you've worn recently and any favorite brushes that you had used to apply them. Now, if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button below. Click that little bell so you're notified of when my videos have been posted. Like this video if you did like it, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye! Today I am wearing this shade in the crease and on the lower lash line. But I like to kind of stick more towards this end whenever I'm going to do more natural. I kind of do a mixture of all of these if I'm doing some kind of like an everyday but trying more type of look, and then kind of get into these darker shades if I want to vamp stuff up. But I really like this eyeshadow palette because it just has a lot of basic shades in it. I think it's a great palette for someone who's starting out.